Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention? Good afternoon, my name is Tam, and we would like to welcome you to the Agriculture, IoT and Big Data e-workshop series. For your information, I will be the moderator for the session from now until the second session. The first session will be titled Precision Agriculture and Deep Learning Application. For your information, today's webinar are conducted in collaboration between Faculty of Agro-Based Industry, UMK, and also World Resources webinar led by Dr. Krishnan Umachandran. Distinguished guests, students, today we will have the leading expert from different countries in the world, that we included Malaysia as well, to share their knowledge on IoT in agriculture with us. Our honorable speaker for the session, Dr. Krishnan Umachandran, he will be sharing his knowledge and experiences on precision agriculture and deep learning application with us today. Before we start the session, a little bit about our first speaker, Dr. Krishnan Umachandran. He completed his PhD from MGR Medical University, which is a government medical university situated in windy southern part of the city Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. That was year 2012. He is currently interested in the research related to Industry 4.0. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Krishnan Umachandran, and the floor is yours, Doctor.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Krishnan Umachandran, the speaker of the content, Precision Agriculture and Deep Learning. Let me share my screen and then continue my talk. See, this topic, Precision Agriculture and Deep Learning application, is quite novel in all applications of agricultural implications. Everyone who is trying to do something new wants to have a kind of new technology being adopted to them. So agriculture cannot escape, and so agriculture has also taken the Industry 4.0 skills and knowledges into it. Right from the first session when we had it till now, we would have seen a lot of inputs that has gone. So this precision agriculture means that we are on the point, like, we will take something which is very important and we will try to use it for our upliftment. Let me check whether it's moving. 1 second. Yeah. See this screen, what you see called a precision to action. It has a different levels of implementations. One is the state, then followed by data, and then machines, then the learning and the intelligence. This is how humans are structured to use precision for any of their actions. Like what I mean by state is, see, we know what is right, what is wrong, and what is a novel demand. Something where we have to have a escalated action, depending on situations or scenario. Similarly, the agricultural implications are requiring the precisionness. That is where we are going to have the programmed logicals implemented in agriculture with right, wrong, and novel. Then data. For human beings, it's not mere data, it is information. So it's a processed data. Similarly, for this agriculture, we require processed data. We need to have observed data and the corrections that has to go in the data. And then when we are using machines in place of human being, then the machine should also have an exertion of energy or effort along with sensors and signals. This is where they can correct, collaborate, and then deliver. In human beings, we have learning. Similarly, machine also has the learning, which is called as machine learning or deep learning. And then along with it, the latent thing, which we have incorporated within us through our experience, which is called the latent in person, that should also be fed into the machine. Then coming on to the intelligence. Intelligence for a machine requires algorithm. That is the process on which it has to take up the data and convert it into an information. That's linking it to a big data. That is RDBMS comes, relational database management systems come. And then along with it, you have your past experience that you have to adjust, correct, or amplify. This is how a precision can be made into an action. If we want to have this into it, then we should know the process, what agriculture means and what agriculture demands. Agriculture today has two impacts. One is on the organic part of it, and then the ICT enablement of it, the computerization or digitalization, what we mean by it. Organic is one that we consume. That is very essential. Whether ICT is there or not, organic is to be there. But then what makes ICT or digitalization more compatible towards organic need of agriculture is because the organic is the one which goes to the end product. So today, people are all educated, mobile, more urbanized, and then moving across the globe. So the end product is the one which has to sell for its being used or for its improving demands. So then along with it comes the environmental conditions. If people are not happy with the environmental impacts which these growers or the farmers being using it, then it also has a lag on their product being consumed by them. So you need to have a lot of facilitation, identification, traceability, sustainability, all these stuff coming into place where ICT is the one which enables them. It's nothing but today's nature produce all require an ICT enablement for their marketability. Earlier, when we had the innovations coming into agriculture, it was very less. Most it was towards drip irrigation, even using a glucose bottle. We have seen many kind of experiments across the globe. Then the poor man's kind of innovation, like planting machines for sesame seeds, which happened in underdeveloped countries. Then many even developed countries try to use a lot of planters, for ginger, turmeric, and all we started having. You seeing this, the agricultural manufacturing machinery manufacturers, what they did, the tractor manufacturers, the vehicle guys, the trucks, loaders, cultivators, packers, plows, harrows, all these people all came into making their product being linked to agriculture. This is where the first set of innovations came into agriculture. Now, things are different. You have all those things, the physical machines, which were earlier invented, being connected. Now, it's more of people-oriented or produce-oriented kind of an innovation which is happening. See, this power suit or exoskeletons or bionics, which is called in normal nomenclatures, this one is being used in the Tokyo University. Professor Toyama, he's the one who has developed this for his research to boost the power assist in people to lift weights so that the farmers can use them for lifting weights, for doing ergonomically easy activities which are time consuming. All these things were into facilitations. This is where the power suit came. Now, a lot of farms are trying to use this because educated people are getting into agriculture. So this is a good appendix that can be put onto the people so that they use it as they perform the job. Then drones. Everyone knows, and everywhere drones are being thought as the greatest evolution of agriculture. Now drones are used for lifting weights. It's connected with scanners and cameras to go around, get us the real picture of what's happening. Helped in herbicide spraying across the land. Then we have weed management to be done by the robots, which is called the drones. Flying robots are called the drones. So have the precise sampling, mapping, testing, GPS and GIS, all for soil, macro and micronutrients, salinity, carbon content, etc. These are the ones which help us in getting the optimal solutions. This is really a boon for a farmer. Next onto it, the robo for plucking fruit. Fruit is the one which is very fragile. It's agile. It has to be removed agile from a plant. So now we have robots doing these activities. There is a lot of deep learning research that has gone in Wageningen University in Netherlands, where they have used this algorithm and machines to identify how to grow their cucumber plants. Now they have the amount of water, light, fertilizers, carbon dioxides, temperature, etc. are all set by deep learning. Moving on, in Israel, they have found out an IoT which is called the plant beat monitor. They identify what's going on inside the plant as it grows. As it grows, how it glows, and how it shrinks, or how it oversizes. And everything is being measured, and those signals are captured. So that a generative learning, you have a lexicon based on which the machine can learn and position itself for what is the right requirement for a plant. There is a lot of things going on in US where distributed autonomous systems are there. It's like a vehicle. It goes into the farm. It is connected with it has a drone. The drones with cameras. So it also goes to the right location, and from there it captures what happens in the field, and then the corrective action is being handled. So you have a predictive model for a precise decision making. This is how the total land or agriculture has become like a lab. So you can sit, monitor, and take suitable corrective actions. The over one that is called the augmented reality, the line of sight information, where a drone flies and it's with the camera and scanner. It goes to the right location. Then the line of sight of information, gets with the reality. Then the computer starts working, and it helps us see what is happening in the remote part of the land. So at one point we can be there and we can observe virtually what is happening and take a real-time action. This is where the precision agriculture comes into play. See all this. Why? Because the machine is becoming intelligent now. The need for machine to be intelligent is because we want to have comfort, coziness of our living life. And for this, we want to have the machine as an intelligent one. So if you want to have machine as an intelligent one, then you need to know about the process in full, have right sensors, transducers, and computing devices across. And then you need to have the sensors that can give out these signals and that can be processed for a better delivery of data to information. For this, we have gone in with doing a kind of a mind mapping of the requirement of agriculture. So for this, you need to have algorithms. If you want to have algorithms are, it has an algebraic form, spatial form, metrologies, bioinformatics, all these computations of mathematics and science being fed into it so that the computer understands what this algorithm is. And from these data, whatever these plants and animals or the land which gives to them is being used for further processing. Here comes the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is know right, do not do the wrong, and scale up when it is required. All this is based on your data and the algorithm, your experience, and then your adjustment or scalability. If this is to be done, already there are a lot of sensors which are being used in agriculture. Like we have mobile computing already in place, we have high-speed internets, we have telematics, the GPS taking care of the operations, harvest, equipments, increasing the production yield, etc. Then we have soil and crop sensors, which are connected with these smart sensors. So on-the-go applications are there. You can control your water, irrigation levels, optimize your plant requirements, improve your yield or reduce your losses, etc. And then you have electric drives and systems along with your tractors and sprayers, so that you generate also electricity as you have your operations on the go. And then you conserve energy, and for various appliances, you use it. In addition, the microchromosome technology is also into place. We identify a lot of traits, precisely the tolerance levels and the efficiencies of nitrogen use, etc., are being identified. Then we have automations like guiding, navigation, forage, filling and offloading. All these things are handled by the machines. Then with the nanotechnology and biotechnology, we handle the waste, pests, nutrients, and the hormones. All these are available. Now, the data from all these are being used for information that can be processed for a betterment of agriculture. For this, betterment is nothing but you have increased productivity, better yield, and have a good and a sustainable income generation. If you want to have productivity, then the machinery, information, and computer should be connected with the new techniques that can be adopted. Similarly, for improving the plant yield or animal yield or whatever it is, then the intensiveness of it has to be improved with implements, practices, innovation. And going on with the plant level, it's for irrigation, original seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, microbiology, everything comes into place so that you have a better yield from a particular plant or animal. And then coming on to the income for sustainability, it is on the farming operations and taking also care of your secondary derivatives from the plant, your farm. And you deduct the investments that goes on for making this money coming out of the farm. For this all, you have a lot of big data. In the means, it has a lot of volume, velocity, variety, variability, veracity, etc. It means a large chunk of data is available, captured at a greater speed from different people, from different sources, and from different locations, and at different situations, and even at different frequencies. So these are the ones that are going to help us in aggregating the data and analyzing what it is and enriching upon the data for an informed decision. This is where big data comes into play. For this big data to be in play, we have to also know what to warehouse, how to compute it, how to do an engineering out of it, and how to do a mining out of it. Because data is a data, but to make it a right data, you should also protect it. See which data can be used, which would go misused, which would go manipulated, which can be left over, hushed. That is the reason you need to know about understanding the data and identifying the BD coordinates, the big data coordinates. Based on the big data coordinates only, we can go for automation of information. See, we have done a project somewhere 10 years ago on the classification in agriculture. More important, like in agriculture, how can we classify it? We have classified somewhere around 9 in positions, like access, application of application development and sustainability as one, and the losses as the second one, the economic development as the third, the infrastructure as the fourth, mechanization as the fifth, status sixth, reform, land reforms like leveling, restoration, etc. as the seventh, marketing point as the eighth, and finally the yield from the farm or from the plant. That is the 9th one. This was derived as a Delphi, using all the experts to share which is required for a farm management, and then we got these classifications. For this classification, then we got in with what are the variables that affect these factors, like land use and soil degradation, environment degradation, massive soil erosions, water resource management. A lot of coordinates we got in, like constraints, like what is pulling down the agricultural development, what is pulling working on the livestock, what is going on with the socio-economic constraints, then the customs and traditions, risks and uncertainty, costs and returns, then the crop production or livestock production or fish production or whatever it is, and then the constraints like infrastructural constraints or institutional constraints, and inefficient marketing problems or credit problems in operations or development credits or human constraints. Like this, we have got a lot of variables. So along with this classification of 9 and 19 variables, the factors that were derived were about 194. In the sense, we have about 192 data sets. When you again do a computational opportunity with permutation and combination, 1 with 3, 3 with 5, matrix combinations, then you have about 1 million kind of combinations coming out, which human beings will not have enough time nor the energy and effort to take on this and identify which is the right solution, for which we require the big data analytics. Similarly, coming on to the deep learning. See, deep learning, when it comes to human beings, it is different. But a plant cannot talk, or an animal cannot talk, and we cannot identify what it is talking. So a machine cannot be made into a position where it can be working on a text base or a voice base or any kind of input base. So deep learning goes on a sensual learning. So it has a lot of artificial neural networks, multiple layers of network, non-polynomial in nature with unbounded hidden layers, So all these things, which are sensory inputs, that have to be recognized, probabilistically analyzed, and translated. So once you make this biometric bioinformatic being ready, then the machine can do machine learning based on this, which is called the deep learning. So the automatic programming goes from a plant or an animal to a machine. See, for a production of a plant, you have to have a lot of aspects like biology or technicality or the technological support. For a biology, it is for new or better varieties that can come out of it, or the conditions of the habitat. That is the one which can have an impact on the producer or the consumer. This is where the biology comes. Then on the technology aspects, if you see the machines and the devices that goes on facilitating this to grow or support for their being healthy or being in a position to live. Then the technology aspect is improve the cultivation conditions. How these things can keep on working out. So these factors have a lot of influence on the cropping. So if you don't want to have influence, see, frankly, the farmer does not have any influence on the how the plant or the animal can grow. He has a very small idiopathic factor that can help him in his important aspect of making the biology grow with him. It's almost limited for him. But to make it better through this kind of a technology is you have to have a greatest influence by using technology that can help in production along with the agro-technical factors. This is the one which can support the farmer to use a better technology. If you want to have a better technology to increase production, then it's almost everyone knows, like mapping of soil, you do the yield betterment, then use robotics or drones, do a satellite imagery. All these things are good. But if you want to do this, then you need to know the technology part of it. That is the GPS for sensing and dosages, generate right decisions for control systems, tracing, tracking, and improving the performance, everything. If you want to have profitability and better control and to reduce the cost, then new technology for increasing production is the right opportunity and option. For this, we have the soil, we have the plant, and the geospatial or the technology aspects. For the soil, it is the rooting depth. How much the soil can allow the plant to grow within it, water holding capacity, pH, organic matter, seed tubers, fertilizers, water, production agents, etc. And then onto the plant for itself, the planting times, how many times you need to do it in a rotation or densities, fertilization, irrigation, how to control the losses of diseases, pests, weeds, etc. Then how do you do scheduling of the harvest? Time, hardware, equipment, soil map, and all these stuff. And then coming on to the technology, the soil mapping techniques, and watching cautiously the yield, then how to identify the soil and the plant sensors for the locations. And then finally going on with the time and intensity of the dosage. This is how the classification of things go on. But now we are all trying to have a remote opportunity for controlling. So remote sensing and global positioning system is more required for agriculture. If you want to have an emerging technology for identifying the parameters for controlling, then we are going to use an electromagnetic spectrum or a progression system. If you have an electromagnetic spectrum, then you can do what kind of a type or health or moisture or concentration, yield requirements, all can be identified. But if you want to have a progression method, then you have multispectral images, different images being captured, then observe the plant settings, and then you do a yield estimates. All these things give you a kind of a three-dimensional chronological tropical feature. A bigger spectrum, a big picture can be created. It can give you a biomass which goes on for engaging or course or whatever images we get it from that, we can decipher what it is. All this is for productivity, yield, income, improvised methods, market expansions, and then the farm prosperity in total. For this, the remote sensing and global positioning systems help us through technologies for time-based differences in cropping, yield, and its space, because you cannot have the same crop all throughout. So you do at what rate and how you keep on mixing. The species mixing comes here. in the beginning, when we started this activity, we gave you an input of what are the agricultural sensors which are being used, which is the basic thing which I said in the first session of introduction. There is a model. You have mechanical, optical, dielectric, electrochemical, location, and airflow sensors already in place. In addition to it, you have sensors like pressure, displacement, temperature, optical, infrared, ultrasonic, and all these things are also being used in agriculture. For this sensor, when it gives a physical signal, then it has to be transduced. It means it has to be converted into electrical. That's where you have transducers like oscillator, flow, inductive, photovoltaic, thermocouple, diaphragm, all these transformers, etc. Differential transform. This is then being fed into a converter, binary converter. And from the binary converter, you get it to a computer. And then the computer gives you a corrected signal again. So this is where the IoT comes. And IoT is a combination of a sensor, transducer, and a binary converter, whereby it interconnects between machineries and gives you a flow or a correction to happen during the process. When these things are being used, then a lot of data analysis goes on. So deep learning goes with this kind of a thing called log web crawl stream analysis. You have to understand this. As we go through this information, see, the plant or animal gives you an input which is mostly voice-based or a thing which is sense-based, which you have to test it and see, ensure that this is the right signal you got it. So the processing of these things goes on. Then it can be used either for marketing or for processing or whatever it is. You do analysis and archive it. This is the big data which goes on in cycles for repetitive use and archiving. When you want to have this kind of a hive, the big data setting, then you have to accelerate this. That means you have to compile it or compress it and keep it, then index it, store it separately or as an algorithm, and then query it SQL based. When you do a transaction or a UDF, user-defined function or a data mine or a metadata you use it. And this combination is the one which is being used for deep learning. So a Hive has an application. It has a database management, which is called the MongoDB, and then a Scoop, which is a connector. So the Hadoop is the one which is gone on for a SQL-based, structured query language. It works on a lot of data sets and clusters of hardware, whereas the MongoDB is the one which handles your data, and it does the modeling of the data, replication of the data. It does the storage of the data using JavaScript, along with the hardwares and machines, whichever you're connecting, so that the language becomes the driver for this information. But then you have to have a data. So the database is being, you continuously collect data, data contribution, data storage, and then you do a combined data node task tracker. This is where the important thing comes. In a normal function, if you go to your computer and you type on a URL, you can get your the browser, go search for their database, and then it can give you a lot of data which is relevant to these words. Like, for example, you type in on the URL, you will get it. But for this kind of an imagery-based or a sensual-based input, then what happens is this machine, the Scoop, is the one which connects, which captures that data, and it goes through the database RDBMS and then finds out which is matching and then picks it up. So this search is not touching your real data. So your data is safe and your actions are also safe. So deep learning techniques in data engineering are very helpful, and it saves your data in a better way. Final part is your amplification. See, whatever it is our cognition. See, if you want to do right, wrong, or novel, you should know how to program it and give it. Similarly, an amplification part is you work on a database, you have created an algorithm, and then you do an amplification, or you go for adjustments. Why adjustments is? Because in reality, there will be a lot of variations. There will be a lot of adversities, problems coming, hazards, nature affecting us. And there's a lot of human deficiencies. All of us cannot have the same attention, memory level, and processing skills and all. So to handle all these things, deep learning techniques, when it is being used in this format, it can help land use or farmers all across be prosperous in their function. To be into it, see, human beings have a short-term memory. But when we program it into a long-term memory in a machine, it can be helpful for many people. So this is where the precision agriculture is being used for a global benefit. Okay, with this I stop. Thank you. If you have any doubts, I don't have the time to process it through. If you can email me at worldresourceswebinar@gmail.com, worldresourceswebinar@gmail.com, then I will be in a position to answer it through email. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Krishnan, for the sharing session. We are living in the time that we have no choice but to incorporate the artificial intelligence into the agriculture field here, so that we could reduce the cost and then to increase the yield and to compete with the other countries. Thank you, Dr. Krishnan, for the sharing again. So we're going to spend some few second times to take a photo. If you don't mind and you are okay to open up your webcam in 50-second time, then we're going to screenshot and then keep it as a memory. Yeah, thank you, Fatin. Thank you, Dr. Faiz. So I'll count to 5. We're going to screenshot, and then later on, we will share the photos in our faculty Facebook then. Ready? Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. We come to the end for our first session. We're going to proceed our second session. We would like to invite the participant to join us for the second session right now, which Dr. Faiz, he will be our speaker. A short introduction about the second session here. So we're going to have 1 hour sharing session by Dr. Faiz. We're going to share about the knowledge, agriculture drone, remote sensing, and application of GIS in agriculture. Dr. Faiz, he completed his PhD in geospatial engineering from University Putra Malaysia, and currently he's serving in UMK, University Malaysia Kelantan, as senior lecturer. Dr. Faiz, if you are ready, then the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Lani. Can you hear me very well? Can you hear me, Dr. Lani?
Yeah, Dr. Faiz. Your sound a little bit soft. You would like to increase the volume?
I'll try to increase the volume. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, still a little bit soft.
It's still a bit soft, eh?
Oh, now yeah, it's okay, right?
That is okay. All right, it's great. Thank you, Dr. Lani, our moderator for today's session, and thank you for the introduction. It was good sharing from our first speaker, Dr. Krishnan, on the precision agriculture and also the planning application. Which I think my topic for today's sharing session will be, more on the continuous session that have been delivered by Dr. Krishnan. However, I will talk more about the, the fundamental on the agriculture drones thing, and then the remote sensing, the fundamental of remote sensing, and also GIS, which is a geographical information system, its application in agriculture. So that without further ado, I think I can share my slide so that all the participants can see, and learn together. You guys can see the slide.
Yeah,
So
we can
today
see
is,
the slide.
let me make it. All right. Okay. So this is our topic for this evening. Okay. The workshop series Agriculture, IoT and Big Data. I will like to say thank you to the organizer, okay, for this invitation to share the knowledge with the semester content students and also other participants. And hopefully it's beneficial for us and also for the students and for other participants. So with my experience, hopefully can give an impact and then give some sort of case study as an example what I've done throughout my work and also research in the field, whether it's drone and also remote sensing and also GIS. So I think all of us already heard about the drones. I think drone revolution is happening right now. It's become trend. Okay, I think most of us get used to it. In fact, farmers in the rural area have also heard about the drones, and some of them have been use it within their practices. Okay, for performing agriculture, and it was growing global markets. Last year, uh, the drone-based technology and precision farming was estimated about 1.2 billion in the market size. And then it was expected that in 2025, there would be USD 5.7 billion. So the drones technology is becoming a major machinery, okay, changing in the agriculture industry. And a lot of changes have been done. A lot of technology updates been evolve and also evolve with the drones technologies, and in fact it's become much beneficial for the farmers, especially the community of the farmers. So drone tech and precision farming become a partner, I think can say so that okay. Without drones, precision farming is a little bit what's called not that complete. Okay, so right now drone have lots, especially for the low altitude flying. Okay, low altitude flying instead depending on the satellite. And the precision farming and drone help farmers, okay, to manage the crops, especially for the large areas. Okay, I think in Malaysia, only the big enterprise or big farms utilize fully the drone technologies, while the farmers still in the beginning of this process since they have small area of planting. So sooner or later, I think most of the farmers will adopt the technologies. Okay, so precision farming basically target on the right locations. Okay, right, the right rate and the right time, which is the basic fundamental of the application of precision farming. So drone technology helps a lot of farm activity in terms of monitoring and also surveillance of the crops growth and crops plantings. And then we can do the area mapping for the farms, okay, using drone. And then part of that, they also have a big drone right now can bring the flying together with the payloads that bring the water, okay, the liquids and also granular inputs right now. So for the input application to these farms. So as we know that the have been described by the Dr. Krishnan, so I would like to highlight further, okay, on the precision farmings. So basically, it's a branch management in performing our farm activities. Okay, it's a modern way of performing the agriculture activities where we practice performing everything at the right locations, means the precise location in the farms, in the right rate, mean that the right amounts, okay, of these inputs that we're giving, okay, to the soil, instead of previously where they provide the inputs in in random amounts, okay, sometimes in a uniform amount, sometimes it's not extra amount, which is a waste, where basically the input should be applied in the right manner, in the right amount, where they can save the cost of the farm activities. And a part of that, diffusion farming try to utilize on the application in the right times, where sometimes we apply the inputs at the wrong times, okay, on which is supposedly the plant they require certain inputs or certain nutrient at the certain stage of the every growth. That's why precision farming helps herders to improve on the farm's activities. So not just focusing on the chemical inputs, but again, right now precision farming have used the organics based fertilizer and also inputs in order to improve further and then to help protecting our environments. So precision farming help in terms of this, precisely manage the inputs, increase the crop productivities and equalities of the productions, and then we reduce the transportation of the fertilizer and also other inputs, which sometimes the field is in the rural area. So if we can see how much, the precise amount that we require, so we reduce some cost of this transportation, and then also the, purchasing of those, inputs when we were going to apply to the field. So right now, okay, precision farming have fully utilized these UAV also drawing similar. Okay, UAV is a unmanned aerial vehicle. So basically in Malaysia, we are well known the UAV with drones. Okay, so UAV have been and drone have been used, for air spraying and also air mapping widely right now in the agricultural practices. So this is a drone function also application. Okay, so I can see that this is a basic function that drone have been used, okay, in the agriculture activities, or for it's a crop monitoring, okay, where we can see the crop growth very well using the drone while we stay in the side of the field. And sometimes we also stay in our office, okay, if the drone can reach the large, rush and far areas. Hopefully in the future we have that one, okay, maybe can fly further, more than, I think, with the battery capacity to have fly more than 20 or 30 minutes, okay. But in the future they will be happen, okay, with the current technologies, it will be not impossible. So we can plan better for our crops, growths, okay, crop planning, okay, and we can growth, can see what is going to happen to our crop preparation. And then perhaps we also can soil assessment, but we need to attach with some of the sensors, okay. Right now they have a lot of advanced sensors can be attached to drones, so we can scan all the soils. In fact, we can assess the fertility and also health of the soils. Part of that, we also we can see, okay, the plant emergence, okay, population and also harvesting yield prediction that can be determined while using drone. So for example, like case in the rice plantation, we can determine what we're going to have our yield after we plant in the next 4 months using drone. We can predict, is it our yield going to be expected as we predicted or not. So drone help further on these predictions with the modeling everything right now being provided by the researchers. And then crop protection and fertilities, okay, where drone with the ability to bring payloads with the inputs and help to spray the inputs to the crops. Sorry, is that they have some sort of unwanted sound from one of the participants, I think. So we can have to manage well while we depending on the labor, physical level on the grounds. Okay, we just can use drone to spray our crop protection and also fertilizer to our crops. Okay, which must be much easier and as much ease compared to the previous crop activities, labor work. So with the drone, we can reduce some sort of this physical energy use, which is sometimes the agriculture activities which require a high amount of energy. Sometimes high energy are required to perform. So drone help to to reduce those kind of physical burdens to the farmers. Yeah. Then the drone can help with the insurance. We can from the crop monitoring, also crop assessment. Okay, we can predict, okay, how much we're going to be lost or how much we're going to have, and then we also can predict with a certain of the pest and also disease infestation. Here insurance can update right now with the Dr. Krishnan already informed on this big data, deep learning, whatsoever. It can help further on the with the drones. I can help further the insurance on this, providing security for the farmers in terms of their productions. Last but not least, the irrigation and also drainage. We can predict either these, the weather situation, okay, with the currently with the climate change, okay, that affect a lot of rainwater, okay, affect the irrigation, also drainage. So the amount of water available for the crop planting is become reduced. So it's a fact. So with the drone, sometimes we can determine the level of these drought activities, and also water, and also the ability of the soil in terms of FD water retention. So this is one of the benefit using drone, okay, for smart farmings, okay, where again, okay, I will highlight the water and also fertilizer efficiency, okay, save time, okay, for large area, okay, instead of depending on the, sometimes one area require one or two labor with a drone. Sometimes you only use one drone within 1 hours for the crops activities. Then it can help, increase yield in terms of, when the crop activities are very good. It's indirectly help to increase yield, where we preserve and we protect our crop from dangers, and then we provide sufficient fertilizer to them. So it's indirectly help to increase the yield. And then help in terms of mapping, okay, we can have mapping for every month, for every week, depending on the cost, on the budgets, and also the ability of the farms to have for those mapping budgeting, okay. So it helps further on in terms of the management. Last but not least, it save money for the long term, okay, not the short term. Long term, for the long term, you can save money. And in terms of this crop health assessment, irrigation, crop monitoring, crop spraying, planting, and soil and field analysis. It's right now have been widely used. In Malaysia also, I think most of the farmers are willing to adopt it, okay. Some of it are not adopt it, but again, they are still in the research why the farmers are not adopting of it. So we need to find out. But again, this technology have potential to be implemented uh, for many benefit and many functions. And we hope, and I hope that the young generations can use this kind of opportunity to to involve with this kind of drone tech revolutions for the agriculture. So part of that, I would like to, previously, I think you guys have seen this kind of, so it's RMX helicopters, okay, where developed by the Japanese company, okay, they've been used in Japan. I think in the 1980s, okay, been used widely until 1990s. I think the first, the single rotor UAV, okay, for the agriculture activity. So in the farm, they fully utilize of this to spray the fertilizer and also crop protection inputs. And in the US also have been used it, okay. But after that, the Japanese company, they don't longer export this technology. So since that, a lot of outside the company try to work and build their own drone for the activities in the agriculture industry. So this RMX spraying is a very fast drone, okay, 50 miles per hour, okay, until to 160 miles per hour for man. But this one is unmanned, is a man which is drive by the pilot on the ground, okay. So it's not yet, latest technology is not yet been embedded into the, RMX helicopter. But again, is the pioneer of these drones in the agriculture activities. It's type of a UAV and drone, okay. Single rotor as a RMX helicopter just now, okay. And then we also have fixed wings, okay, like a plane. And then multi-rotor, most of us have space, okay. And we also have hybrids, multi-rotor plus fixed wings, where this one is have a vertical takeoff. When the going to take off, it's a vertical, and then when it's flying, it goes to horizontal. So it's going to land, it's going to vertical landing. So there's a hybrid part of this UAV. So this one is a comparison of between the UAV, between both, those UAV, okay. While the multi-rotor, they can bring much payloads compared to this fixed wing, single rotor, and also hybrid one. And that's become they bring the heavy loads. Okay, the time flying is become reduced compared to the fixed wing, single rotor, and also hybrid one. While the hybrid one, single rotor and fixed wing, they can bring less. The payloads. That's why they have the weight they bring is less, so they have ability to fly much long hour period and much faster compared to the multi-rotors. Okay, here's the comparison on terms of the altitudes, the heights of flying ability, and then the contour range, okay, which are up to kilometers, okay, and then the airspeed of flying, okay. So from here you can see that the fixed wing is the much faster. For in case if you like to cover for large area, 1,000 hectares, okay, for mapping you can use fixed wings, okay, for mapping only. But for in terms of area spraying, the best suggestion is a multi-rotor sync can bring much heavy payloads compared to fixed wing, single rotor, and also hybrids one. Okay. So this one is a GGI, Ibras. Okay, I think most of the service provider, okay, drone service provider in our country and throughout the world, they use these GGI grass for these, inputs spraying, okay, either fertilizer, pesticide, okay, herbicide. In fact, for the organics based liquid, okay, fertilizer and also crop protection also can be used unless we need to filter first those organic based inputs. In fact, I also have done a few studies on using the organic-based inputs with the drones to see how is this, either have a similar impact or have a more potential benefits compared to the chemical-based one. Okay, so the standard operating payload 10 kilogram max. Okay, so it can be about to 16 liters. Okay, of this liquid. Spraying speed sometimes not as faster. I will show the case study. Okay, from my research previously. Spray weight basically up to 6 meter. Okay, the ability is going to fly and then spray the waters up to 6 meters. And then the drone size is in the nanometers. Okay, the micron. Okay, where it goes after spray from the nozzle, it goes to up to the leaf, where the leaf will absorb a bit on top of the leaf. So that's how the small size of the droplet came in from the drones. Okay, this one the G15, one of the drones for this air spraying process. Okay, but it can be much heavier. Okay, and it cover up to 10 acres per hour. Okay, which is field efficiency of this drone. So this one is a drone for mapping. It's much smaller compared to the drone for the input application. Okay, right now Phantom 4 Pro. Okay, we also have a GI Mavic 3. Okay, they also have other kind of brands available in the market. Ida Solo have been KR Solo and then AG Hawk and so on. They've been promoted for air mapping. But again, GI Pattern 4 Pro have been used widely among the consumers since it's easier to the markets is much easier to buy and also for maintenance. Okay, so it can fly up to sometimes 20 minutes. Okay, you can bring they have a camera attached, gimbal, everything. They also have infrared, okay, attached to this drone. Okay, and then it can fly up to 30 minutes to 20 minutes depending on the payloads. Okay, depending on the sensor that you attach to the drone. Okay, it can speed flying up to 72 km per hour. It's very fast. This one is a sensors that basically used for drone technology. Okay, where we can attach to the drone for the mappings basically. Okay, so we have the cameras, we have NRI, okay, RGB, multispectral, hyperspectral, thermal, okay, infrared, okay, where sometimes right now they have one sensor with a can put on top of it with a different basic function. They have a green, red, okay, red edge, RGB, and so on, which the sensor have in terms of this remote sensing application. Remote sensing function, where which I will explain further on the next topics. Okay, coming after this. Okay, so the purpose is to RGB. We have visual lighting. Okay, with a red, green, and also blue. Okay, visual inspection. Okay, for terrain, road, and party counting. NRI for the soil properties. Okay, moisture, plant stress, irrigation management. Okay, and then vegetation indices. Okay, and then the MS is for plant growth and health. Okay, HS for advanced MS. Okay, fluorescence. And then TH is flow for the plant health, okay, maturation, irrigation, also yield forecasting. So this sensor is basically attached to the drones, okay, for these the mapping activities. So this sensor is not that cheap, but again it's a benefit. It's a very crucial, okay, very important for area mapping activities. So previously I said that the pesticide right now they also be used for fertilizer, and in fact for the organic based fertilizer. Okay, And there are a lot of here you can see the list of these technology. For this is a mapping camera, okay, and then the fixed wing. Okay, right now they also have a formulation, the modeling that be used for the mapping in terms of for the plant health assessment, plant health fertility. Okay, by using the NDVI, RTCA, a lot of model have been developed by the scientists. Okay, in order for in order to know the plant health and also how to calculate precisely the amount of fertilizer to the crops. So GIS, Geographic Information System, okay, is be part of this, chain of this drone tech technology. Then liquid tank, there are 5 liter, 20 liter. Right now, they have also 20 liters. Okay, the biggest payload. And there are also drone that have been developed for the granular tanks, which is they bring not liquid one, but some sort of this dust and also granular. Okay, mean the pellets one. Okay, got up to 60 liters. This is a good news. Okay, for agriculture, where previously, for example, like for rice farming, they depending on the fertilizer, which is granular size. So it can help for the fertilization activities for the rice farming. It is a new kind of drone. Then they also have aerostatic valve. Okay, where this valve they have aerostatic where they shoot when we spray those droplet, when it goes up on the landing on the leaf will stick to the leaf without being easy to flow or go down to the soil. So it's help further to absorb by the crops. So this one is one of these research that I have done. Okay, we do the assessment. Okay, we would like to know the best spraying rate for these using drone. Okay, where you are using UAV with a 6-month rotor. Okay, which is customized. Okay, so the experiment. Okay, we maintain the flying speed. Okay, flying height constant around at the 2 meters, and then we try to speed. Flying speed of the UAV with different flying speed, 2 meter per second, 4 meter per second, until 6 meter per second. So we do the experiment to see what is the best flying rate for spraying organic-based fertilizer to the rice crops. So for me, you can see the spraying pattern analysis where we're using the droplet paper, okay, to count and then to receive and count the droplet that received by the leaf. Okay, so from here we found that the best, okay, flying with the flying speed with the best spraying rate is at least 2 meter per second. If you like to perform the fertilization with the organic base, you need to fly your UAV at a 2 meter per second at a 2 meter height, so that you can get best result with a high amount of droplet on the leaf. So this is a finding of from my research last time, okay, 2019. Okay. So we can conclude that okay, the best speed also spraying rate for using the organic based fertilization, okay, with the wind speed around 1 to 2 meter per second, okay, which is the best condition. Okay, we need to fly at a 2 meter above from the rice canopy, and then we can spray at a 2 meter per second of the spraying UAV at a 3 liter per minute. Then we get the best result spraying the liquid on top of the rice crops. So from our last research, okay, to complete the area spraying for 1.2 hectares, okay, with the variable rate technologies, okay, with the precise amount, we can complete around 1,280 seconds for organic based liquid, while for the inorganic, so around 760 seconds per flying, so for 1.2 hectares. While from the uniform rate, which is being practiced by the conventional method, okay, but we try to spray with the UAV, we found that it's require much higher amount of time to fly. So when the high amount of time required, so the flying time taking longer to complete the activities. So we taking longer to complete the activities is require much a lot of batteries. So a lot of batteries means a lot of money to buy the batteries. And so a lot of time required. So from the study, we would like to know with the precise application of these inputs, so we can save time, save battery amounts, and then save the amount of inputs that are going to be applied to the rice farming. So this one from our last results. Okay, right now we go to the remote sensing. Where remote sensing is a complement for the drone technologies. Okay, it's a fundamental understanding. Okay, why we need to perform the remote sensing, why we need to the first crucial answer for why we're using drone. So remote sensing are the answer of it. So remote is a never coming into contact. Okay, which have a distance. Okay, we remote area. Okay, we do the monitoring or surveillance, and then sensing. Okay, to measure or records. So with drones. Okay, we able to put the sensor, which is cameras and so on. Okay, to the drones, and so we can measure and record all data with the. Okay, now we coming in contact with the. Or we available in the at the field. We can do that at a distance. So they basically the remote sensing. Last time before the drone technology available, they use satellite. Okay, satellite, but this was very far view. Okay, was not that sharp, not that very accuracy. Okay, compared to the low altitude. Okay, remote sensing, where drone very utilize the low remote altitude sensing, and that's the advantage of the using drone for the remote sensing. So it's a science and art, okay, obtaining the information of an object, area, okay, or phenomenon that we can do through the data analysis, okay, by device, by sensor, okay. So we do the investigation, what the reflectors that we receive from the object that we're going to, understand, okay, the information that we receive. So we try to get more further information that will happen on the surface, on the targets, from the far or distance places. So a lot of method have been used previously by using satellite, okay, and also by using plane, okay. So plane also they take cameras, okay, for the last time using the tech cameras by using plane, especially during the World War, okay, they try to spy those, suppose the enemy using plane with the plane using plane, but it's a very high altitude, which is not that accuracy. So it's the same case for the satellites. However, right now with the drone, okay, we can perform the low altitude. We can get much detailed information up to 5 meters accuracy. Okay, for of these data information obtaining. Okay. So for the remote sensing, we measure on the reflected energy and also emitted energy. Okay. So reflected energy is like this. Okay, where it's from the sun. Okay. The energy where we basically have UV and also visible light, okay, goes up to the all the objects on the ground, the earth, where they have reflectance, okay, in the red color, okay, the reflected EMR, okay. This EMR is this the meaning of this emit electromagnetic radiation, okay, from the sun. So it go to satellite and also drone up here, okay. So in the red color is a reflected EMR, okay. The blue color is emitted EMR also, okay. So incoming EMR is basically from the sun. So all these have information that we can analyze and get the beneficial information from those reflected energy and also EMR. So we would like to utilize, okay, the difference of reflectivity, okay. So we can identify, okay, all those objects from the visible light, which is from the sun, okay, from the surface, okay. So all those visible light have 3 colors, which is blue, green, and also red component, which is the major colors. Okay, so we have a wavelength, okay, of the different light spectrum. Okay, so what we can see is from the visible light only. Okay, so for the visible light, you can see the blue, green, and also red components. Okay, so we basically see the vegetation in the green color because the green is a strongly reflect, okay, from the visible light from the sun. So part of that, in the visible light, they coming from the sun, they also have near infrared and also ultraviolet light, okay, which are also invisible to human sight. So our eyes only can see the visible lights, okay. So that's the spectrum colors of this remote sensing that we basically need to understand the basic function of the remote sensing. So reflectivity depends on different wavelength, okay. So interaction between the EMR and matter, okay, all the matter they reflect, absorbs, okay, penetrates, okay, emit electrons, magnetic radiation in a unique ways. All the object they have a unique ways of reflecting all those radiation with the EMR. So the reason why they leave look green because, okay, the chlorophyll absorb, okay, absorb the blue and red spectra and reflect the green spectrum. So that's why we can see the green colors of those the leaf. So this one is called this unique spectral characteristics. Okay, so each object sometimes for the land, for the soil, for the shiny surface, they have a different reflection, okay, with the spectral characteristic. So from here you can see this one is a leaf. Okay, the cross section of the leaf. Okay, we have organs behind underneath of the leaf. So for me, consolidation and also vegetation. Okay, the UV lights. Okay, the sun, for the sun, they have a green, red, so infrared. Okay, and then the green is reflected back by the epidermis of this what's called of the leaf. So we can get information from here on the healthiness of the leaf, since we get the information on the chlorophyll content behind of the leaf, underneath of the leaf. Okay. So this one is a wavelength, okay, where there are different reflectance percentage, okay, reflectance signature. Okay. Dry base soil, they have a different wavelength, also spectral signatures, and the vegetation have their own unique spectral signatures, and water is a little bit less the wavelength and the reflectance percentage compared to these base soil, also vegetation. So this again, okay, on the wavelength in the nanometers. Okay, see that the green grass. Okay, so we can see that here they have a blue, green color and also red color, near infrared, also mid infrared. So here you can see that the green reflector is about 5%, okay, and the soil goes up to the wavelength in the nanometers. So that's basically the remote sensing, the hub further to get information based on the wavelength of the reflection that received from the objects. Yeah? From here, we can identify and classify all the different objects specifically, okay, based on the strength of the light, okay, reflected from the surface. So this is a wavelength that we basically measure, okay, the sensors, okay, for difference, okay, to differentiate different objects on the field. So this emissivity, okay, we utilize the different emissivity, okay, where sometimes, okay, all objects, okay, at temperature above absolute zero, they emit thermal energy depending on their own temperature and also emissivity, where emissivity is a measure of an object ability to absorb and radiate energy. So variation in emitted energy, okay, is provide, okay, specific information about the temperature and also thermal properties of surface features. That's why sometimes infrared are very crucial also, very crucial sensors for the drone tag, okay, for the agriculture activities, so that we can see the variation energy that being emitted from different objects in the field. So this one is the electromagnetic spectrum, okay. You can see that the cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-ray, UV, and then visible and so thermal, infrared, and then microwave, radio, and TV. Where only we can see is that the visible and also the visible only we can see blue, red, and red color. So how about in the thermal and whatsoever we can see with our eyes, okay. So from here we measure the blue, green, red colors, okay. So this is basically the sensor, the cameras or whatsoever, they utilize this electromagnetic spectrum, okay, for analyzing and so get the information of the objects. This is a portion of the EM spectrum, okay. They have a lot of different micron, okay, nanometers, okay. So okay, many remote sensing, okay, they are designed to collect radiation. So a lot of sensor even in the air, for it's like this drone flying over here. Okay, source point is basically from the sun. Okay, is reflected. So all the information, okay, at the sensor will be gathered. Okay, if a drone they have the sensor, they're able to gather all those informations on the Earth's surface. So from here, okay, the satellite, okay, solar, okay, their level sometimes they emit a variation of this radiation on the time also location. That's why sometimes to perform of this drone activity with for the mapping, there are specific time to perform it. We need to perform around 10 a.m. in the morning until to 4 p.m. In the evenings, because during that time the sun, it was a peak time, okay, which is around the 90 degrees. So we get precise information of this reflectance. Okay. So why we use remote sensing? Okay, so basically we able to make observation of a broad area. Okay, for drone, not that broad area, maybe I think not that big one, not in the kilometers. Okay, small, I mean hectares, 1,000 hectares, drone can be used. Okay, but for the large one, okay, you need to use satellite. Okay, large one, okay, kilometers, we need to satellite observation. So sometimes we need to the repeat observation monitor on the times. Okay, sometimes we need to perform every week, okay, every day, okay, every month. Okay, depending on the your work activities. Okay, and then the data was a real time, so means that the data was very quite accurate, and then we get data based on the time that happened on that day. Okay, so it was a precise. So we can know the condition without visiting the area. We can see it in the office, and then we can see the information at the rural area, for example, okay, using the satellite. Okay, we can observe those areas. So and then we can acquire invisible information that we would like to have. Then part of that, they also have a high data resolution, which sometimes right now it's become cheaper. All those information. Right now, drone also not that expensive to operate for the area mapping. Yeah? So perhaps in the future, most of the farmers can utilize all these technology. So this one is enabled to make observation of a broad area. See that okay. Australia during the 1994 flood, okay, with the Landsat, okay, with the satellite, okay, images. Then this one is during tsunami, okay, before and after, okay. Banda Aceh, okay, after, before and after, okay, we can measure it, we can see it, I mean the impact of the tsunami, okay. And then the humanitarian aspect, okay, for the rainfall, for the drought, okay, for the crop situation, severe weather warning, and so on, okay, for using the remote sensing. And then this one of the example of application. DEM is basically it's a digital elevation model. We can see, I mean, the high altitude or low altitude, either the cost, I mean, the hilly area whatsoever of this your targeted area. And then urban trees mapping, okay, in the town, okay, we can see, I mean the recreational gardens or any plants that have been planted in the city area. And then the agriculture monitoring, again, for example, like mapping for fertilization, for pest and disease monitoring, and so on. And then the epidemiology, okay, disease and pandemic patterns, okay. If you like to see, for example, like dengue happen in a certain area, and then you can see how fast, I mean, the time dengue is infected to other area. In fact, for the COVID-19, they also use the kind of GIS, the remote sensing application to monitor how the pandemics, patterns throughout the world. And then geologic mapping, okay, which is basically by geologists, okay, and then the forest modeling, okay, amount of the, the forest area, is it being, deforestation and so on. So for the to complement all those remote sensing and so drone, okay, we need to understand what is the global navigation satellite system, where all those technology are using this navigation system, where it's a part of navigational positioning and security purpose, where all those function, those technology, they use this GNSS, yeah, where the satellite, okay, is they provide all the reflectance informations in a real time, where they orbiting the earth, okay, where they always orbiting, so there are a lot of satellite, okay, orbiting the earth right now. So that's why sometimes they have further in terms of this broadcasting, signal communication, and so on. And sometimes if you driving again using the Google Maps, okay, they also use those global navigation satellite system to provide in terms of high accuracy for your driving purpose. Okay. So that's why drone also depending on this, so that you will not lose during the flight session. Okay, if there are no navigation satellite system during that time, incomplete satellite, sometimes you need to manually fly those drones. Okay, that's why sometimes navigation satellite system are very crucial in term, okay, to bring back your drone, go back to you. Okay, so this one is a geographical information system, okay, GIS. I have further, okay, where in term of this farming activities using the technologies, So where the GIS is a computer system, okay, which is capturing, storing, checking, and also displaying data that related to the position on the surface and also your data by using drone. Okay, so this one is part of GIS. They have they need to use a specific software. Those data that you obtain from the field, and then the procedure that you have done, and then the hardware you must have computer, okay, and also have it's called GPS, okay, system or device, okay, to obtain the data and the people to work around. So it form a networks, okay, so network of data management. So they are laying of data underneath of those software GIS, okay. So GIS describe for on in terms of this integrated system where it organized, okay, displaying and also analyzing all those spatial data using the computer and so others compatible technologies. So here computers and then GPS device, satellite and so on. In fact, for the drone, okay, they are incorporated together in become an integrated system in organizing all those data to manage very well. Okay? So there are a lot of overlay multiple data sets. Okay, it create a precise map. Okay, and then we can do the statistic analysis, and we can see the relationship between all those data. Okay, so a lot of study have been used GIS. Okay, to study, monitor, okay, and do the modeling for the agriculture, and in fact for the methodological process. And precision farming fully utilize this GIS technology. So we can manually generate maps from the GIS, okay, which is a software, to to put the mapping side of it, and so can have a lot of data underneath of it. You can put data on in terms of pest and disease, and then the leaf healthiness, and then other kind of information. Okay, like for example like coordinates and so on. Yeah. From here, we can calculate, okay, further, okay, for example, like my case, okay, I will show further on the case study, okay. We can overlay, analyze all those data in the data set to see the relationships, okay, between those data. And then can we perform, okay, all the impact to the field. So that, for example, like in terms of fertilization, we can post all the mapping, put all the data reflected and so on. We can analyze it, we can do the statistic analysis, and then we can build a model relationship, and then we can get the amount, precise amount of fertilizer that should be sprayed to the field. And then we go and then to the field, and then we put all the amount of fertilization in the drone, and then we can spray on top of for the farmland. So you're able to help, okay, it again, okay, for the analytic technique, okay, for this case on term of this rain precipitation, okay. So a lot of many maps being produced, okay, which area here in the drop process, drop condition, which area is in the high amount of waters. So it helps, okay, to understand further based on the mapping. So this one is a laying of data, okay. So we can gather all data, okay, past year, okay. In fact, for today data, we also can insert into this GIS. So we can perform all these, precision farming activities by using GIS. So for example, like this case, okay, for for the livestock grazing, okay, where they have to understand, okay, which area, okay, is healthy or not, which area is have problems with the pest or disease, okay, which area have have a green color of the leaf, the healthiness of the leaf, so that we can supply different inputs, okay, precisely to this area based on the amount that we would like to spray. So from here, GIS help further, okay, to understand on the activities for the farm manager. Okay. Here, okay, in this how we basically the precision farming have been done. Okay, this can done much faster, accurate, and also reliable. With the satellite images, we can do the raster anti-vector. Okay, we do the image processing technique, and then we do GIS processing, also editing, and then we have a digital vector-based map where we can put either for monitoring, for surveillance, or immediate with the tractors, or for the drones applications in the field. For example, okay, which is from the satellite, okay, Kuala Terengganu with the Landsat 5 PM. And so Kuala Terengganu, okay. So this one is a NDVI, okay. You can see that, okay. Green color, red color, okay. Grayish, okay. And then there's a chlorophyll mapping. Okay, you can see which area have a high amount of fertility. Okay. So this one example of a case study, okay, where the procedure in terms of how to perform the variable rate technology for precise aerial liquid spraying, okay, using drone. So we basically again we plan mission, okay, we plan mission which area we going to to perform this spraying activity using drone. So we go fly and capture the data which is the mapping, okay, and then once we do that, okay, we will measure, we have with the GPS, also satellite, we measure the soil variability, okay, and then crop growth and measurements, okay, and then we put on the GIS, okay, upload data, okay, and then we process the data, we can get the map here, and then we download the data after we analyze and do the statistic analysis, and then we provide, we develop a prescription maps, okay, and then we put into the drone or so tractors, okay, to the variety technologies, so we can precisely apply the liquid and also our input to the field. Okay, this one the workflow, how to produce a prediction map for VRA drone application. Here we can see that the SPD map, okay, population map, and also fertilizer treatment they are produced from the Madi case study for the rice farming. Okay, so blue one is a non-plant area. Okay, from the green one is a high SPD reading. The yellow one is a medium, the red one is a low SPD reading. SPD reading means that the high chlorophyll content. So means that the green one is a healthy one, okay, healthy crops. So from this green, we don't need to supply more fertilizer or inputs. So the area that we need to put is the red one and also yellow one. So we need to add additional fertilizer to improve further so that it can become green again, okay, so that can help in terms of the fertilization activities. Okay. So while we know that, we also can implement, okay, using drone, okay, where we can provide a fertilizer treatment maps, okay. They also right now the autonomous drones, okay. We can put maps and then they can fly based on the area that we would like to have, okay, in terms of the amount that we would like to have. So that's basically the drone and also GIS have been used for the fertilization activities. So this one is again, okay, the activities within the SPD, okay, cross-checking with the UAV, okay, we can do the ground and also area checking. So once we get those data, we can cross-checking, okay, we can do the evaluation, and then we can see the relationship of it, either it's correct or not between the ground and also aerial one. So from here we can see, okay, SPD map, UAV map, not that further differences, okay. Also can generate the pest and also disease map, okay, which the red one have a high infestation. So this one also fertilizer treatment. You can see that the red one require much higher fertilizer. Then we embed it with the drone spraying for the activities at the field level. And for infestation, okay. So this one the result we received from our last experiment, okay, where we have 3 different the modeling, the fertilization of the algorithm, also formulation. We do the NDVI and also IPC RGB. We can see that also uniform. From here, we can see that the production after we perform, fertilization based on different, the algorithm and the formulation of this calculation of this, fertilizer to be applied on the rice field. We found that the IPCA produced much higher grain, the rice, compared to the uniform. Uniform is a conventional method without any precise application of fertilizer. And also NEVI is also one of these method like IPCA, which is also one of precision farming modeling for fertilization. However, it shows that IPCA produce much higher grain yield compared to other methods. So in terms of economics, okay, from here you can see that, okay, this one is the growth stage, okay, day after transplanting, okay, different growth stage. You can see that uniform method require and use high amount nitrogen compared to this precision farming formulation fertilization modeling. So IPCA and NEVI in the same amount, okay, for in terms of the nitrogen application, okay, at the different stages. So in terms of total price, you can see that uniform, which is a conventional method, use much higher amount of money, okay, compared to this precision farming modeling, which is NDVI and IPCA. Where NDVI and IPCA, they're just like about below like 50 ringgit, okay, for the total 4 months of planting period. Compared to the uniform, they reach up to 350 in terms of amount of spending for fertilizer. So these are solution and importance of this drone tags and remote sensing, also GIS. So first, we able to prevent infestation, okay, of the disease and pests, okay, that carried by worker. Because sometimes right now, when the labor worker, they go into the field, they don't change the clothes, and they also bring some sort of the seeds of these, disease and of pests. So when they go, they don't change the clothes, okay, is bring, disease go to the healthy land, okay. So this actually happened in the Skinchan area in the rice farming for the BLB and also BBP, okay, where they see the infestation from the neighboring area is transmitting by using the similar labor worker, okay. So this is, the true study case. That's why right now people change to drone technologies. So that's why the farmers right now, they are prefer using drone because they can prevent the infestation from the disease and also pests. So the drone also can replace tasks, okay, by the labor worker, physical worker on the ground for the fertilization and so crop inputs application. And then it's much faster, efficient, and also effective, okay, compared to the labor worker. Sometimes the labor worker, they do they don't follow good agriculture practices. Sometimes instead of they spraying in the 6 row, they just do 4 rows. Compared to the drones, we can mapping on the device, on the phone device, and then we can do precise mapping. We sometimes can go up to 10 lane of doing the spraying, okay. Then the save energy, time, and also input, okay, from the precision application, okay, precision farming methods can save energy, time, also input, and it can provide new job creation for the youngster, okay, for this technology based, okay, for the drone based technology, and then it optimize management in terms of cost, increase the profit, and also yield. So this is a benefit, basically why the drone are being preferred right now in the agriculture industry. Then UAV services being provided by most of the drone technologies service provider. Okay, so this one is the oil pump. Okay, they provide digital map. Okay, for the oil pump. Okay, for the inventory, all the plantations such as asset, road, count the palm tree, culvert, ram, office, and so on. Okay, they also do the replanting program. Okay, using drone. Okay, and then they're monitoring the encroachment area. Okay, and then they analyze of this planted and also the planted area, road density. Okay, and then they also can help in terms of preparing the annual budgets for these oil palm plantation. So this is one of the example, okay, using drone to count missing tree, okay, from the area. Okay, the yellow one is the represent oil palm trees, while the red one is the missing one. So from here, you have a lot in terms of the replanting or replacing all the plant that lost or not available in the field. So drone help further for these activities. So part of that, drone also help other kind of activity, for example, like infrastructures and a spatial map, okay, creating waterways, creating roads, okay, and all the assets in the field, and then provide a much precise topographic map, okay, plant country map, okay, at the field, and then automated disease track detection. When we flying, we can see that any reflectance, okay, received from the sensor that we attach from the crop surveying drones. You can see that from here. You can see the the yellow colors of the oil palm, okay, leaf. So we can detect of it, and then we can do the I mean the help to repair or put some of these fertilizer or any inputs to help this tree to grow back well. Yeah. And then there's an NDVI for the planting, and then palm hat from the NDVI. So these are basically the example. Okay, one of these benefit also drone technology, remote sensing, and also application of GIS in agriculture. That's all for me. Nanti I give back to the Dr. Doni. If any question from the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Faiz. Dr. Faiz, I think just now you show us one slide that would motivate the conventional farmers wanting to apply the drone into their land there.
Okay.
The cost reduction from 350 ringgit to
Correct. Yeah.
around 50 ringgit on the
Correct.
fertilizer use. Yeah,
Correct.
this one is a big motivation to the conventional farmers, because in order for them to wanting to learn using the drone to improve their land, they will feel
Okay.
like it's too technical. But when
Correct.
you show the reduction of so much percentage, I think that they might change their mind, and then they might want to try to learn the drone here.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Agree. So this basically we receive, the feedback from the farmers when we show this.
Drone
Yeah,
is like it's like a partner to the farmers. I will agree with you.
So this is basically, yeah, it's a true effort in the Sungai Besar, where we, 2019, I do the experiment there. We work with the farmers, surrounding people. The other farmers from the neighboring don't believe what we do actually. When we get the result, we save a lot of budget from the field activities, and then in fact we managed to save the crop from the pest and also infestation from the BLB, also BBP. All the neighboring farmers from others 1,000 hectares, they came in and see, they don't believe it. It's actually happening. So they say, in future, please come into our area and do the similar projects, and we're willing to learn. So even though we don't show the data here, the amount of the data, but they see from the naked eye, they see that the impact is there from the precision farming activity using drone.
Besides that, I guess that the youngster would like like to venture into the agriculture field here, because a lot of technologies are starting to happen in this agriculture field, like how to manage, how to navigate the drone, how to do the analyzing the data.
Correct. So,
but I see that it's going to help a lot in terms at the economy side here. Save
correct.
And also reduce using the utilizer is good for our land as well.
Because right now, what actually happened, in the case for the rice farming, the reason why most of the control population of pests and disease, because they use high amount of fertilizer at the field level. They don't care about how amount that should be applied at the field at the moment. They just follow like previously last 10 years, 5 years ago. Recommended by the fertilizer company. You just need to apply this month. But again, the fundamental of it, we need to do the soil assessment. And also crop fertility assessment, the analysis. From there, it grows what amount of fertilizer or any inputs that we should apply to the field or to the crops based on the current stages of the crops growth. So there's the fundamental, the activity that we should be teach to the farmers. But again, it's much technical. The farmers, they don't have this kind of knowledge, but again, they're willing to learn. Maybe some sort of a DOA, government organization need to figure out to put into us, a training program, so that the farmers are open and willing to learn in terms of this kind of precision farming technologies.
Great. So we are trying to optimize everything.
Yes, that's correct. Optimize everything.
To reduce the cost, but to increase the yield.
Yes, but I know actually a lot of companies have this kind of collaboration project. It's called a smart farming projects. Right now, have been proposed by the government. I think it's a good news. Okay, I believe that maybe in like 5 years, maybe in 10 years, with the young generation already learn about this, and then the farmers also have been exposed. I think our farmers will become a modern farmers, and they will implement all these technologies in the field activities. I believe that. We just need time.
After maybe 5 years, when we are driving from Pasimas to Kota Baru, passing the paddy field there, we might see some birds flying on top there.
Correct. In fact, when I was traveling from Rantau Panjang to the Salor Kota Baru, I see that there are some farmers are already use the using drones. Okay,
Oh,
but
okay.
again, they also already use drone. But again, I mean the method of using drone also need to be teach to the farmers. I mean the SOP, standard operating procedure.
Oh,
Okay, you
okay.
need to fly at a at high altitude. Which altitude are the best? At which spine rate that you need to spray. Okay, and then what kind of amount that you need to to be provide to the field, and then what is your security process? Okay, which your your because the droplet sometimes they can flying not that precise from the field, but it can divert to other place. So you need to have some sort of barrier area to protect people are working underneath of it. Sometimes they are so steady. They have done the droplet are flying away from the not from the target location, go up to like 500 meters from the target. So they
Okay.
also have residue. They have done the residue. So all the SOP need to be teach to the nursery. Drone service provider, so that the right method be implemented at the field level, so that no any dangerous or any unwanted case coming back. Okay,
I see.
backlash to these drone technologies. So I think it's required time, and then hopefully in future can be teach to all these service provider and also farmers in terms of the drone tech, because the potential of the drone is very huge,
Yeah, I was agree
unimaginable.
with
Yes,
that.
unimaginable, because a lot of tech are being embedded into the drone right now. So fast. In fact, the autonomous, with the AI big data right now, sooner or later in the autonomous mode. Okay. Previously, I done in the manual one. So in the
Oh,
future,
okay.
maybe the autonomous mode with the big data and also AI. I believe that.
But the fact just now you mentioned about there might be human error, means that if
Correct.
the farmers are not following the exact SOP,
Mm-mm.
the drone might be diverted to the other places there. Is there in
Correct.
the future like one button and it can automate the whole process uh, from starting until landing the drone?
Yes,
Or
yes.
is
Right.
it?
Right now, they are also applying. They do the activity in the night.
Oh, okay.
They're flying. One of drone service provider. They tell that they perform the activity in the night. Okay, because in the night the pests are very active.
Oh, okay.
They come up from the from the shelter. They attack the crops during the night. So the night is the best activities to perform the crop input
Oh,
application. So when they're doing it at night, they are all depending on the remote sensing and also GNSS, means that the global satellite system.
oh, okay.
So they basically all the autonomous activities. So they're flying and they take off and also landing all the automation mode. So I think should be no problems
Okay.
to be implemented. So
Oh,
our
they also flying the drone during the night time. Yeah lah.
correct,
The
correct.
the pests are very active that hours period time. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Because right now, in fact, to prevent the errors, the droplet, divert from the target location. They also develop from the slide. You can see the electrostatic valve. Where the electrostatic, they shoot something, electrostatic, to attract to each other, which is the droplet. They are attached to it together, and they don't divert to other places. And then when they're
Oh, okay.
landing on the leaf, okay, they attract to the leaf, so they stay there for the long time until the
Oh,
leaf
okay.
absorb those droplets. That's until end the people, the scientists around the world, they try to figure out how to solve this kind of areas and also solving in terms of the SOP, right SOP for the drone application.
I see. Wow. Dr.
Hopefully,
Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah. One last question from me.
sure,
Uh,
sure.
the drone is required the battery power to do the flying
Correct, correct,
process there.
correct.
But just now you mentioned one of the drone could only fly for like 30 minutes time. In the
Correct.
future, is it possible the battery will be upgraded or somehow so that the drone can last long in the air for 2 hours, 3 hours, so they can perform more functions?
Correct. I agree. I believe that because right now the battery is on the lithium. Maybe right now they can find a new source of energy to perform, to become a replacement for the battery. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, the scientists, not just for drone, but again for the car actually,
Yeah.
for the electric car. But once the electric car is there, drone also will receive the same benefit from the energy, new source of battery. So lithium maybe can replace with a new sort of much environmental production, because lithium they have a little bit problem with the environment in terms of mining of it. Okay, so if finding more than 30 minutes, the drone, okay, you can stay up in the air for 1 or 2 hours is much better. You can cover much bigger area. You can do, perhaps 100, 500, 100 hectares can be performed much easier, because when the battery is up 30 minutes, 20 minutes, while you do sometimes 1.2 hectares, is require around, depending on if a uniform, you see that 1000 seconds. 1000 seconds, about like 2 or 3, 5 minutes. Okay, you require several batteries, okay, to perform one hectares. Sometimes one time, okay. So it's very tedious. You need to come and then come back, fly, and then you need to replace. So to replace those batteries, sometimes require more than 5 minutes.
It's a bit tedious.
Tedious. That's why the battery replacement, by the most of these drone manufacturer, they try to find the best battery, or source of energy to help further to flying the drones. To help further is the longevity flying in the air. So hopefully it's happen there lah. So the drone is not there's still have a huge potential.
Yeah.
In fact, they also, I think in our country, they also company Malaysia, they built drone to fly people.
Okay.
Okay, they can fly. I'm not sure how many kilos, but again, huge payloads, very huge payload, 100 kilo payloads. You can bring human there.
It's like a taxi bringing people.
Yeah, it's correct, taxi. In fact, in Asia, I think also would like to provide some sort of like Grab for the drones in the future. I think, yeah, they would like to propose that. But that's the best thing about the technology. There are no limitation in terms of imagination. Okay, so and I believe that for me, like for us, okay, like scientists, we try to find way how to make sure the SOP, the right standard procedure, the good architecture practices can be met using the technologies in terms of field efficiency, the battery amounts, okay, and so on, so that best practices can be applied using this technology in the field.
Dr. Faiz, there's a question from Hanafi. Is it possible using for pineapple plantation, the drone, and also the GIS?
Yes. Pineapple plantation is basically one of these, major industry that you fully utilize the drone. Okay, because pineapple plantation, most of its fertilization they using liquid base. So UAV is the best one. Okay, instead of depending on the labor worker or at the ground. So you can fully utilize UAV, drones, okay, to spray fertilizer, hormone, and so on, okay, to the crops. In fact, in the China, okay, in the other kind of, Latin America, they fully utilize the drones, okay, together with the big data and also AI in terms of the calculation and then the data records, okay, and the previous history of activity in the field. They're using drones right now, and then they try to predict the yield again, and also amount of pineapple they're going to ripe at the field level. In fact, right now I also have done studies on predicting the pineapple at the field level using drone, using the multispectral and also other kind of formulation to predict the amount of pineapple that ripe on the crops at the field level using drone. So it's a huge potential over there.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Another question from Idris. What type of pests have severe level of infestation?
Can you specify which crops? What type of pests have severe level? Is it rice farming? You can write down on the chat. Right now in the rice farming, BLB and also BPP, one of these major disease right now. Okay, but the pest borer, okay, rice borer, one of it. Okay, one of these major because it's very difficult to early detection. Okay, because when the rice borer, okay, when we can found the rice, the larvae inside of the stem, the leaf stem is already what's called it's being like break already. So instead of become a green color, the yellow color, perhaps it's a kind of a disease. So when it's a break, it's already late to detect the pest. Okay, so rice borer stem rice borer is one of the major. Okay, it's very difficult. I also have done that. I also have some data on it from Malas research. We found that we can detect using drone for the BLB, BBP, and also rice stem borer using UAV. Yeah. Only the different wavelength, different formulation are required to calculate on those. The counting. The severity on the.
I see. Even the larva is so small, but it can produce some kind of
we don't detect the larva, but we detect the crops. The leaf. The leaf that have been break, and then the signature of it a little bit different compared to others.
Okay, based on the symptom. Okay.
The symptom of it, because it's very hard to detect the larvae because it was in the stem. So, but they are different in terms of reflectance, okay, between the BLB, BPP, and also the stem borer. So, using drone can be fully utilized. In fact, right now a lot of scientists try to study on the stem borer and also BLB and also BPP in terms of using drone to early detection. Because for late detection is very difficult. So early detection are very crucial for first remediation, first application of inputs to prevent it from spreading to other place. Okay. Hopefully answer the question. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so you did say.
Thank you, Doctor. You have answered the question. What I want to add about is I really wanted to know more how you identify the yellow stem borer, because they are the most severe insect pests of paddy.
Correct. Yes, it's more severe. Right
yes,
now
I'm presently carrying a research on the yellow stem borer. So I was wondering how you use the drone to identify the level of.
I can share you. You can send me email. Okay, I will show you all my data that I've done previously, because my papers right now is still under review.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor.
I try to publish those data in one of the journal, and hopefully publish. Maybe I can share with you on this data.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. I will be much glad if I can have your email so that I can contact you.
Yeah, in the chatting we have put the email. You can copy and then you can send me. Maybe I can update you on this. The recent research that I have done.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Idris.
Yeah, thank you.
I think soon in the future, the pests will start to hit the drone and the system. Because we can detect them, and then we can somehow start to reduce their population in the field.
Yeah, the ecosystem of the drone. Enthusiastic. The hobbies. The applicator. Industry are very a lot now in Malaysia. So I think drone will be the best next machinery. Okay, for our agriculture activities. Agriculture land. Agriculture activities in the world. I think in Malaysia also will not miss out. Okay, I believe that drone will become next greater thing machinery for our industry. In fact, we also have biggest number one drone company in the world, Aerodyne. It's coming from
Malaysia.
Yeah, it's from Malaysia. Yes, number one biggest in the world.
I see. Thank you, Dr. Faiz. Like you say just now, the drone is the partner to the farmers. I would very much agree with this term used.
Okay, correct.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Faiz. So we have come to the end of our webinar session. if the participants are okay to open up your web camera, you would like to snap a photo, and then we're going to put in our Facebook as a memory. So we're going to take photo in 10-second time. Okay, everybody smile. Okay, thank you all. Okay, thank you, Dr. Faiz. So thank you, participants. Hope the session benefit you. And then this is our last session. In case you would like to review back the content of the speakers, you can go to our facebook.com/UMKfield. Okay, thank you. We'll see you again next time. Bye.